Michael Rogers de Ferrari.
Hay maricones que trabajan y hay maricones que...
Ik heb binnenkort dus niet zo'n tagliati apposta così.
All right, we starting over? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we almost had it there. All right, we're running. Ready?
Rolling.
Greetings from the Tour de France. This is James Start with Frankie Andreu for Tour Talk 2013 from the sunny beaches of Corsica. Frankie, this is the 100th running of the Tour de France. Not the 100th edition, but the 100th running of it.
2 years ago was
10 years ago. 2003 was the 100th anniversary.
time flies.
Minus the 2 world wars where the race wasn't held. So this is the 100th running of the race. They've done a lot of things to make this a memorable one. Do you think it will be?
Yeah, so far, I mean, beautiful Corsica. I mean, it's gorgeous here. So I think for fans and the spectators, you're going to have a beautiful sight. But for the riders, it's going to be pure stress. I mean, these small roads, windy, twisty. 3 days on the small island. Then finally we get back to the mainland. And but the real racing, you can't gradually make your way into this race. You better show up ready.
It's the stages 2 and 3 in particular are going to be up and down, twisty, turning the whole time. Nobody thinks you're going to win the race here, but sort of like the Ehrenberg Forest in Paris-Roubaix, this is a place where a lot of guys could lose the race.
Yeah, no, for sure. And of course, let's look at some of the contenders. You know, instead of getting into the course right away, I mean, everybody's talking about Froome. You know, he's the favorite to win. He's got to go against Contador, who's the other favorite, first and second. The podium maybe a little bit more wide open, and I don't know who to pick for that other spot. Yeah, but the Americans, we got a lot of Americans here who are going good with TJ, I think is going to be a contender. Talansky's a good one to be up there. You know, they're going to have to get through this first island days and see how it is. But also it's the story of who's not here. I mean, there's no Cancellara, there's no Boonen. Last year's winner, Wiggins, isn't here. No Hushoff. So it's kind of different, the Tour, and who shows up to this race ready to race and the guys who decide to skip this race. It used to be nobody ever skipped their Tour.
Contador said today in the press conference he's here ready to race. He was asked directly, could you see attacking here in Corsica? And he said, I wouldn't rule anything out. I wouldn't rule attacking anywhere out. And he's the kind of rider, that's why we love him, because he just is always looking for an opportunity and takes every chance he can get. And there's going to be a lot of chances this year.
There'll be a lot of chances, but I wouldn't attack in Corsica. I mean, it's a long 3 weeks, and everybody knows you need to kind of conserve, and especially for this year, the last week, which is brutal. I think there's a good amount of flat stages for the sprinters. Obviously, the team time trial and the time trial, but Pyrenees, not so bad. I don't think it's so bad. It's that last week where it's going to make a big, big difference, and guys have to stay rested, and that's where I think we're really going to see the showdown from anybody who's trying to win the race.
But when I analyzed that last week, everybody said, ooh, last week. I'm a little worried about that because you know what happens? A lot of guys go, last week's going to be killer tough, so we're just going to, be conservative for the first 2 weeks. It's going to make for a boring race. But when you really break it down, you got the Grand Tour, that's going to be a hard stage. Then you got the double climb up the Alpe d'Huez. Is that really going to be that hard? I mean, it's just like going over 2 climbs, and the Alpe d'Huez has never been considered the hardest climb.
I think it'll be hard because you got to climb before that, plus you got to go up Alpe d'Huez, and it's just you're doing the stress, the famed climb. You're doing it twice, so I mean it's going to be flat out. And plus you go up, you go down, you go straight back up. So in a way, well, it's like a double mountaintop finish because on the descent, which is technical, there's not going to be a whole lot of time for people to come back.
Going down is going to be no easy cakewalk either. The Col de Sauron, we went down to the Dauphiné this year. Riders are scared. It is zigzag, zigzag. You get the front rider like 5 zigzags in front of the last rider at least. The road conditions are horrible, and they decided not to be working before the Tour. But some of the guys think that's actually an advantage because they say since it's so crazy, the descent's going to be so hairy, people will be a little reasonable. It only takes one.
No, yeah, and then after you get through the double Alpe d'Huez stage, then you're going to have to go to the next day, which has some big climbs.
But the big climbs are in the beginning. They start with the Madeleine. The hardest climbs at the beginning.
It's the Madeleine. It's hard.
The Madeleine.
It's hard. It's all hard. And so then and even the last day. Well, not the last day. The second to last day. There's climbing the whole way until you get to the finish.
Not the
and then the Champs-Élysées at night. Whoever heard of that?
That's going to be hard to take a picture. No climbing the Champs-Élysées.
No climbing the Champs. More cobbles. They're going around the Arc de Triomphe, which is completely different. Starting at 5 o'clock, ending at 10 o'clock at night. The riders are It just messes up the schedule. It's kind of different. When they're messing with tradition, which is kind of different, kind of neat. But when's the last time they changed the course of the final day in the shops? Maybe when Greg LeMond did the time trial?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's ages. I don't know why they're switching it up.
I think it's called the 100 running. Something to remember.
So it'll be the 100th winner? No.
Yes, this will be the 100th winner.
All right, let's see who the
And
100th winner is going to
100th
be.
loser. Well, actually, you'd have to multiply that by everyone who lost.
Yeah, it'll be a lot.
100 times.
We'll see who the 100th winner is.
From Corsica, Frank Andreu, James Stark. This is Tour Talk 2013. How's that?
They always seem long.
Yeah, you want to do it again, or are you all right with that?
Can't do that.
That's what Not a dog.
And rolling. Oh, great. We
Why
have.
does he get to wear a chain and not me? Kaiser lost my chain last year. He made me take it off, and finally I never.
He's here now. We can rattle his chain back.
You good?
Yeah, James, I'm sorry
We
for
good.
I wasn't
Just
trying
can
to
you
bark
can you
at
tuck
over
in your
there.
mic a
Got
little bit
your
more?
More?
Yeah.
Nice
And Jim,
silver.
Jim,
Way in the bottom already.
Okay, then, Jim?
Kaiser.
Jim?
I lost it.
your mic, if you can bring it in a little bit more,
Frankie's
because
got
I'm
some
picking up the
See what I'm
winds.
saying?
Rolling.
Did you get that one? Huh? What?
No.
Why don't you do it again
So I
for me?
created a monster.
You want us to run
Did you
that
get
one?
that? Did you get that? Did you get that? Every 3 weeks. Did you get that one?
We can do that again for you. That'd be my touche to his like Chinese bedroom slippers. That was good. Where did that come from? I don't know. All right.
You're ready.
Greetings from the Tour de France. This is James Stark with Frank Andreu for Tour Talk 2013 for the start of this year's tour in sunny Corsica. Frankie, there's going to be a lot of dynamics this year, a lot of rivalries between different countries, the different jerseys are going to play out in a very interesting way. I think there's going to be some fresh faces in the different competitions for the white, the polka dot, the green jersey. I think it's going to be really interesting. Beyond the yellow jersey, I think it's going to be a pretty interesting race.
And not only the jerseys, I mean, you look at also Cadel and TJ, that dynamic. You got Froome and Port, that dynamic. You got Bach, Mollema and Haysink. And then also you could even have...
Haysink can still climb?
Yes, he'll still be there. Then you also have like the first American. It's going to end up being a battle between Talansky and TJ.
for the white
So
jersey.
there's all sorts of these little stories and battles that are going on.
Sagan Cavendish, you know.
Besides the jerseys, and so that's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Yeah, even Cav and Froome, who's going to take the most headlines in Great Britain. So there's a lot to be there. But we'll start off with predicting, trying to figure out who's going to be. What do you want to start with?
White?
White jersey. Youngest. So TJ got it last year. Was 5th overall. It was a good bet. I'm going to stick with TJ as a white jersey.
We have to agree on that. I think TJ's going to be on the podium actually. So I think if you get on the podium under 24, you're going to be in the white. Talansky.
Wait, for TJ with the white, do you think he's going to win a stage or just be able to take white?
I think he's going to be focused on that jersey. I think he's going to be focused on the overall and the jersey that makes him with it. And I think Andrew is going to have a very good tour. He's definitely, I think for me, definitely top 10. But TJ's going to met every rendezvous this year, pretty much, and he's got the tour experience behind him that Andrew doesn't have yet. So I think that's going to play out in his favor this year. We'll see down the road.
Just has to worry about Cadel.
Do you think Cadell's going to have anything left after this year's Giro?
They're on the same team, so you have to worry about it. That's the way it works. So, green jersey, Sagan, done.
Get the prize for the fastest there.
Picked it first,
Okay,
yeah.
Sagan too. I mean, the thing with Sagan in this year's tour is there's not a lot of pure sprinter stages for Cav to come out on, especially here at the start. Already, usually the first couple of stages are for sprinters. Here, that's not the case. So there's going to be fewer opportunities for Cav. Sagan can win on the flats and in earlier harder stages. So I think he's going to be unstoppable.
And when Cav is going, he's going to have to still deal with like Greipel or Goss, and Sagan can get over these kind of medium transition stages that you're talking about and pick up points. And so I actually think Sagan could win 4 to 5 stages this year at the tour.
Polka dot.
Quintana.
First year pro, going just coast, and he's a pure climber.
Pure
I
climber.
would love to see that because what's so
Is he
frustrating.
aggressive enough though to get into the breaks? Because we've seen in the past with Vogler, you got to get into the breaks to pick up the points. It's not really the best climber, which is weird with the jersey, but it's just how it plays out. You have to get into the breaks, and so I'm not sure. I'm going to stick with Quintana, but he's going to have to get into the breaks and be aggressive to get up the road.
This jersey is endlessly frustrating to me because I always thought it was one of the great jerseys, and yet so many times it goes to somebody that is not really considered a pure climber. So I'm hoping that guys like Quintana go for it, make a priority. I'm going to pick Sanchez. He got it 2 years ago, I believe it was. He just won a stage at the Dauphiné. I think he knows that the GC is not going to be easy for him. So I think it's going to go to Sanchez. It could also go to Rodriguez, you know?
So, do you think the guy who wins the climber's jersey will win a stage? I say no.
Mont Ventoux.
Whoever wins Mont Ventoux is going to have the climber's jersey. I like
You
it.
heard it here.
Stick it out there.
That's going to be a killer stage. Not only do we go up the Ventoux, but it's the longest stage of the race. That's going to be a climbing stage, a Mont Ventoux stage, like from the annals of cycling history. You know, Louis-Saint Bobet. You know, he did these big long breaks to win up on the Ventoux. It's going to be one of those kinds of days.
It's going to be a tough day for sure. What's last? Yellow?
We still have yellow.
Yellow. Podium. Picking the podium.
Not going out on any limbs. I'll take Froome. I'll take Contador, and I'll take TJ.
I'm going to go with Contador and then Froome, and I'll also go with TJ. And I picked Contador. I think Saxo Bank has a stronger all-around team than Sky for the climbs. And I also think Contador is just an all-around better bike rider. Froome is extremely talented, can time trial, can climb like mad, but I'm talking about bike handling, skills, knowing what to do, wind, the experience, all of that goes to Contador. Froome is just going to have to just out-drag race him, and he's done it in the past, and that's the other reason. Froome has been at a high level this whole time. Contador's been okay. You know, can Froome pick it up another notch? Maybe. I know he's going to be extremely motivated to win here, but I think Alberto can bring it up, and the experience of knowing how to handle this race can play into Alberto's favor. And TJ, yeah.
I like that. I like that. And because this is going to be a bike racer's bike race in many ways, it's going to be hard technical racing all the way. The one thing where Froome was way out ahead was time trialing. And Alberto just has not time trialed like he showed in the past. Do you think he's going to be able to make up that kind of time on the climbs?
No. But
Sounds good.
I'm going with bike handling over talent. I don't know how to say it, but yeah. So it'll be good. Interesting 2013. A lot of combinations with rivals, teams, jerseys. It's all going to play out.
You heard it first here from Frankie and James. Tour Talk 2013.
How long was that?
It
Three.
started to get a little
6:30.
long. Here's one thing: Sanchez isn't racing.
You sure?
The other Sanchez.
I'm talking about Samuel Sanchez, not Luis Sanchez.
Neither.
You sure?
Yeah.
Confirmed. Okay.
Well, the good thing is we did 2 cameras, so we can.
And rolling.
We're going?
Yeah, rolling.
So smarty pants. What about the polka dot jersey?
Ooh, that's a tough one because it always goes to somebody that you don't know who's going to get. You know, it goes from the break. But I'm going to go with Quintana. I think he's a little Quintana from Movistar, great climber. He's going to have to get up the road. And that's the thing. You have to get into the break and you have to get up the road to be able to get those points because it never comes from the best climber, which is what I hate about the jersey.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. This is one of the beautiful jerseys in the history of the sport, and it is not respected enough by the riders. The great climbers don't focus on it. I wish they would.
Well, they're worried about the bigger prize, which is winning a stage or trying to win the overall. Maybe they need to They're tinkering with everything else here. They need to tinker with those rules to be able to make that point jersey make more sense for the guys who are finishing at the end of the day. But I'm going with Quintana. Your choice?
I'd like to see somebody like Rodriguez do it, but I don't know if it's going to, just like you said, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be aggressive enough, you know. But, Vogler, I think Europe car, they've tasted this sort of success in the last 2 tours, getting a white jersey here, a polka dot jersey there. I think they're going to be inspired between Pierre Rolland and Vogler. They've got a lot of cars to play for this. They sure like being
I like
on
being
some
aggressive
podium,
too.
on the according to last year's tour.
You love being aggressive.
They love to be aggressive, so I think Europcar's going to try to pull something out with one of their riders. Then there's a bunch of others. Dan Martin from Garmin could have. He's a climbing fool. He could have a great third week. Now he's got a little experience under his legs. The confidence after Liège. Thibaut Pinot, the young French kid who won the stage last year, he was riding with the top guys in Switzerland. Costa,
He won Switzerland.
Teammate, if he's going for it, I think there's a lot of guys that could if they would focus on it.
You gotta have the ambition. We'll see.
They don't have ambition for the Tour de France. Was I supposed to say from the tour?
No, because they
2.8.
That one's not stabilized.
they make a stabilized one. 7200.
The 7200, but the 2470,
Oh, right.
which and then they so it gives you that little flying camera effect, you know.
Yeah, like you can do a video tour of a house or something like that and handhold it
I
instead
use
of.
it for the
Let's say 5 o'clock or something. All right, let's shoot for around between 5 and 6. Okay, and are you going to take a nap or anything like that? Okay. Okay. Well, if that's okay for you to do, I mean, if you wanted to try to get a nap, then we could do it a little bit later. But if not, then yeah, let's shoot for between 5 and 6.
De toute façon, ça va être tout.
So, biggest climbing habits.
Up out of Lugano to Serrette, go up out of Lugano, keep going up, and to Serrette.
You know, if you put in, that work at the right time, that there's a high probability that you'll be repaid, with great results. So that, with the confidence, that certainly, is a nice feeling to have, and I think it brings the best out of you when you know that you got someone at the end of the day who's going to be, have a good chance of, stepping onto the highest place in the podium.
Sorry, questo concentrato per bere prima la sera.
5 pound sono 50 km.
Active hydration. Active hydration is what a rider will drink anytime they're sweating. So on the bike, you're drinking active hydration. We got 2 ways we can fire our muscles. Am I going too deep? A little.
Okay, pleasure.
Free.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time, though.
You guys have been very helpful to us. If we can do anything for you, I actually brought.
Frankie, this year's tour, the 100th anniversary of the race, the 100th running, of the race. They don't have ambition with the Tour de France, there's a problem.